Hi everyone, this is Talty. This video is going to be about making, storing and using pastel dust. It's used for everything pretty much when you are making food, especially if you want to make it look realistic. So instead of explaining it every single time, I want to make just a video explaining everything and then a link into it. So first you're going to need some chalk pastels. Make sure they are chalk pastels. I think all pastels don't work as well as these do, and this is an old set I've had pretty much all my life, so it doesn't matter if it's an old set. I think a little bit more expensive or more quality ones will work better because the pigments are better, so you won't have to use as much, and you will also need a blade, of course. So what you want to do is lay the blade against the pastel and sort of shave it lightly, because we want to create a very fine dust. You don't want to press too hard because that will create big chunks, and the chunks are a little bit more difficult to blend, and if you are using them to make something like a bread, it can leave the chunks on the surface and it looks awful. So you just want to do this. Notice I'm doing this in a pretty much this angle, it's quite low. You don't want to press in this angle. I think it takes more time, but it seems to work too. Just remember to be careful so that you don't create big chunks. So I like to do this in big batches instead of shaving the pastels every single time, because this is easier. So once you have a lot of it, you can store it in a baggie or in another small container and use it later. As I say, this saves a lot of time. I like to shave them over a piece of paper so that I can just get it in the baggie like this. You see, that was pretty simple. And then I store all of my baggies in a small box like this with the colors I use the most. This sort of gold ochre color is the one I use the most for absolutely everything that is like a bread or a cake or anything like that. Also this one, these are the two I use the most. I also have white, some sort of very dark gray, red, this sort of orangey brown, orange, and another sort of dark brown and green. But the ones I use the most are these are the most important. This is really good to make sort of charcoal burns for things like hamburgers, and you know, just use and store all the colors that you need, and it looks really fun. So I like to use baggies because it takes a lot less space than using containers or paint pots or anything like that. I just put them all together like this in a box with a lid, and that's it. So now for using them, I actually use these are really old, so don't notice it. I like to use two sizes. This is slightly bigger, and as you can see, it's really frayed and used and worn and everything, but this still works. I've seen some people claiming that you need to use soft and fancy brushes, but as you can see, this is not fancy or anything at all. I think I've been using this since I started making polymer clay miniatures, and it works. And I also use this one for smaller details. Both of them are really old and really worn, and I think they are second hand. I believe they were my boyfriend's first, but he discarded them and I took them for this, and look, they work perfectly for me. So what you want to do, let's say, well, imagine this is a piece of clay, because obviously it's not. So what you want to do is simply open the baggie and I like to stick the brush in here, take a little bit, and here is where things change. Load your brush, and if you need to cover a lot of surface or if you need to get a thick layer, just sort of shake it a little bit inside the bag so you don't have dust anywhere. This really helps to make things neater, you won't make such a big mess. And so the brush is loaded, but it doesn't have an excess, so just start painting some of it. As you can see, it comes like a very fine dust. It's not overwhelming and it's easy to control. And you can use this to cover a bread or a cake or anything. I'll leave an example to my cake tutorial where I use this, so that you can take a look of how I did it. So let's say sometimes you will need an even lighter layer, just for a touch-up or just a small detail or just a small accent. In that case you will need to brush the pastel with a lighter hand, so you can just stick the color, and I like to press the back like this and sort of swirl it, and it will come with a very light layer, and then simply brush it on like this and it will be soft. And I don't clean this. I don't think I don't know if I should. I don't know if people do. Whenever I want to change colors, I just take a piece of paper and do this, and that's it. This is just a scrap brush. I think some people really take care of theirs and clean them and mold them and condition them and everything, but I don't. These were my boyfriends and they're second hand and they work for me, so I don't need to do anything else. But let me know what you do or what you think, and also let me know if you have any more questions, if I can do any other tutorials to show you. It really helps me to decide what other things you guys want to see. So that's it, and I hope this is useful for you. Don't forget to subscribe. I upload videos every Monday, and so I will see you later. Bye bye.